This is Bishop Dr. Truman Burst. Master Herbalist, coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries.
Natural Remedy company, and it's a Christian ministry. It's a not-for-profit, and they only have members. Everybody who buys from them is a member. And they got thousands of members, but they're all poor, so they all get a discount. And so the health and herbs people don't, they don't have any benefits. They work long, hard hours, and they don't make any money. But they do it as a labor of love, because they know the value of what they're doing. And that's a service to the Most High. Amen. So that's that formula, and that's how they do it here. So now let's go back to the report, multiple sclerosis. We've looked at the website, betterhealthherbs.com. That's where we went. betterhealthherbs.com. That's the manufacturer who says nothing about the products, but is hounded out of existence and can't last much longer. And they're the last one standing. There's no other natural remedy products company left in America. So let's go back to multiple sclerosis. Underneath that is something, underneath that pain and MS relief that we just described, is another product listed, and that is called MSM powder. It's methylsulfonylmethane, and it helps what it does, it helps rejuvenate the joints and all the body cells, and it lessens the pain and the stiffness of arthritis, and it boosts your energy level. And how it does it is that, as a cell ages, it shrivels up and die. That's why we kind of get old and start to shrivel up, because that's what the cells do. But what MSM does is it keeps every cell in your body young and moist, so that as you age, you won't have stiffness of arthritis. It'll boost your energy level, and your skin will be softer, clearer, younger looking. Your hair will be younger looking, because it's what they call keeping a cell permeable, so that it's young and permeable and moist, and will let the toxins out and let the nutrients in that cell, and it will last, and that cell will last much, much longer than a cell that isn't getting any MSM. And it looks like a pound of sugar. That's what it looks like. A pound of white sugar, but it isn't. It's a little bit bitter. It comes from a tree. It's a byproduct of trees. It comes from trees, okay? And it's known also in another form, that you can get in a liquid, but and that's called DMSO, and that they rub that into sore, stiff joints of athletes and football players when they're all bummed up and everything, and that takes the pain away, and they rub this in. But one has to be very careful of DMSO, because whatever you touch, that too, because that DMSO is a penetrant, so it penetrates deeply into the skin. And if you used an herb that you had a poison on your hand, and you put that, and then you put the DMSO, well, it's going to drive the poison right in and kill you. So DMSO isn't on the open market. You have to get the DMSO to rub into your wounds and into sore, stiff joints and bruises and so forth. You have to get that from a veterinary store or a horse seed and feed kind of store, they have DMSO liquid for horses, and it works. But anyway, that's one of the things. But we're taking MSM. It's a powder, and it doesn't stink like DMSO does, because DMSO smells like rotten eggs. But anyway, it works. But as a powder, it just is a little bit bitter, and the dosage on that would be 1 tablespoon, 3 times a day, and then you can expect amazing things at the cellular level of your body. Those cells staying young and moist and reducing stiffness and arthritic type pains and so forth. So that's why it's important to know about MSM. How much does a whole pound of that stuff cost? I think around less than $20. When I first started using it, way back when, maybe 25, 30 years ago, it was like $79 a pound. Okay, so now we've got it down. It's so popular now, we've been able to reduce the cost because we get it less, very, very inexpensively now. So it's like $19, $20 a pound. Anyway, that's how to take MSM powder. And if you clicked on it and you went to that website, well then bingo. Now I clicked on the product, and I'm looking at a pound of MSM, ultra pure methyl sulfonal methane, MSM, minimum 99.9%. And the water content is 0.1%. And 1,000 milligrams is in 1/4 teaspoon. And so if you're taking 1 teaspoon, that's 4,000 milligrams. And if you're taking 3 tablespoons, you're taking 3 12,000 milligram doses. And when you do that, it changes the skin and the tone of every cell in your body. Let's see if it has a description. Nope, no description. Try not to offend the FDA, because there's a lot of things could be said about it, but you can't. We don't want to. So now the instructions says start with 1/4 teaspoon 6 times daily in water, juice, or with meals. You can actually take this with food, and you can increase slowly to 1 tablespoon, 2 to 3 times daily, morning, early, and afternoon. And product warnings, of course, there's that same disclaimer that we mentioned before. We're not going to be redundant and do it again, but there it is, and that's all is said about that product, and you can purchase it. I was wrong. 16 ounces at $22.40. So now begs the question: Are you financially challenged, or are you able to pay the retail donation asking price of $22.40, or do you need a discount?
I could really use a discount.
So that's why these people do this. You know what they're going to do with that $22.40? They're going to give you a 20% discount only because you asked, because you said you needed it. So that's who they are. Cool, huh?
That is really cool.
So and the discount code, if you ordered online, or you can just ask for it when you call up, but the discount code is HEALTH14, HEALTH 14, Health 14. So okay, so let's go back to the multiple sclerosis. So we're learning all about all kinds of things that can be helpful. Now here's another product, and it's called milk thistle seed. It supports the liver and digestion. And what it will do is it will rebuild all new liver cells every 120 days of taking it. So, if you're taking this milk thistle seed, you know what I do? I put it in a power drink. I just put a big tablespoon. I make a power drink. Do you drink power drinks?
The only one I've been drinking recently is that muscle milk.
Muscle milk. So I understand. Okay. Before this is over, I'm going to give you the most extraordinary recipe. Do you like chocolate?
Okay, yes.
Do you like vanilla?
I prefer vanilla.
Yep. Do you like cinnamon?
Yes.
That's what this tastes like when I get through making it. So I'll share that recipe with you after we get through here, okay?
Thank you.
Because then you could put any powders, all these things all into a blender with a bunch of seeds, and here I'm giving you that recipe now, aren't I? You just take what I do is I go to the blender, and I put in some of this hemp milk, or flaxseed milk, or hazelnut milk, coconut milk, whatever kind of milk that I want to put in there. Hemp milk.
How about almond milk?
Almond milk, but no soy. No soy. Soy is not good. So, yeah, it upsets the hormones in both men and women and feminizes men. Soy. So we don't need that. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I filled the blender halfway with almond milk, coconut milk, any of these various milks. Try different ones. Flaxseed milk, and but get the flavored ones. Don't get the unsweetened one because or you can get the unsweetened ones because you're gonna.
The sweet one comes in flavors as well.
Yeah. Well, it usually comes in a vanilla flavor.
The vanilla, I meant to say vanilla one. It comes unsweetened, but it also comes in vanilla.
Yeah, I kind of like the vanilla myself, but and some of them even have a little bit of sugar in it, but I'm not worried about it. Because I try to stay away from white sugar. Stuff is poison. Now, so now I'm putting a scoop of whey powder in this blender. I'm putting in maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. I'm putting in a couple of tablespoons of nice big splash of vanilla, and then I go to the grocery store and I get chocolate, baker's chocolate that has been made since the 1700s. So it's just pure bitter chocolate, and it comes in a big chunk there, about half a pound, for about $3.75, probably more by now, but $4, okay? And I got this big square chunks of chocolate, about half a pound of it, and all I'm going to do is break off a little corner of it towards about half the size of my thumb, and put that chunk in the blender. Now it's going to taste like chocolate, vanilla, and it's going to taste like cinnamon, all together mixed up. It'll be delicious. Now let's put a handful of something to lower the cholesterol and emulsify everything. That's going to be lecithin. So a handful of lecithin powder goes into the blender. Let's see what else now. We'll get some flaxseed. You now can get organic flaxseed meal, and you put that in there. So it's all ground up and everything. You put some of that in there for fiber. Let's see, what else can we put in here? Let's put in some actual fiber, the special fiber powder with bentonite clay that draws poisons. The bentonite clay is a magnet for toxins and so forth. So we're going to put a little bit of that in there, and we're going to put a heaping tablespoon of the super green foods that will be found a little bit later in this MS multiple sclerosis list. I'm sure it's got to be there. I'm going to scroll down through here and look. Nope. It's not there, but that's okay. It's in another report that I'm going to share with you. So anyway, so now we have any powders, anything, some ashwagandha, which is mentioned here, maybe even some turmeric if you want. You can put that in there. That's an anti-inflammatory. If you need, it depends on how much anti-inflammatories it's going to take, because we got a bunch of them, and we can use a bunch of different anti-inflammatories to reduce the inflammation. We just need to know when we've reach the saturation for each individual. You understand?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so anyway, so now we're putting in, we got all these powders and everything in there, right? Okay, now we're putting in, fruit. We're putting in big handful of organic raisins, a big handful of organic dried cherries, any other kind of fruit that you like and you want to put in there, well, you know, whatever it is, apricots, anything, you know, mangoes, organic is what it's got to be, and then it can go in there, so you can have as much fruit in there as you want. And if it still isn't sweet enough, then you get raw honey, because raw honey is loaded with enzymes. And we're going to use just enough of it, not, you know, to your taste, and the amount that you feel comfortable with, for this whole blender full, which might be 1 or 2 tablespoons of raw honey for the enzymes. Now, and we've got the milk thistle seed powder in there. We've got the ashwagandha powder in there. We'll have some turmeric powder in there for the and then if you need extra, you can get echinacea powder, or you can take these as a liquid concentrate extract. So you've got the option here of some of these things in powders, or some of these things that it's listed for MS that you can use in a liquid tincture extract form. Okay. Then finally, at the end of this, because this mentions echinacea for immune support, hawthorn berry for stress and good for the heart, and the turmeric as an anti-inflammatory, the ashwagandha, which helps nerve exhaustion and loss of muscular energy. So, and then and the very last thing that's mentioned in this report is a muscle relaxant. It's used for tight, sore muscles.
This is Bishop Dr. Truman Burst. Master Herbalist, coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries.